Our second isometric focus for increasing the deficit, again yielding, is going to be an end range yielding isometric. Now we talked about with 3 position yielding isometrics, we might want to start with a concentric going down. Now would be a concentrically oriented exercise. And what that does is gives us an opportunity to load. So we're initiating that movement with length. So if I'm thinking about an RDL where I'm lengthening my posterior chain from my gastroc all the way up to my hamstring to potentially my glutes and my low back erector muscles, I can start to think about now I have a different opportunity and I can start to leverage maybe a different exercise, right? Not one's better than the other, but if I could do a exercise specific to that, then maybe I have a better opportunity. You could easily say, I want to do a deadlift and I want to pick it up and do an end range yielding isometric before I place it on the ground. Completely fine. Completely fine, and I fully get that. But I find a lot more success by, okay, now I have a different orientation, so I'm eccentrically oriented as opposed to concentrically oriented, and I can tap into something different. And maybe I can tap into different lengths in that range of motion. So just like we were talking about from increasing that length force continuum, now I'm going to go with a eccentrically oriented, get to that end range, hold that for a period of time. And what you also will find is this when you start to get the quote-unquote the shakes, right? I'm kind of shaking uncontrollably, right? If you can think about Dwight Goodman in Dodgeball, involuntary muscle spasm, enjoy the show. I'm going down to that end range and I'll find where I'm actually weakest, right? And this is the beautiful thing about this. You're getting really good feedback on what you need to do in terms of increasing their bandwidth, right? We know where they're weakest. We know where they're going to come up short. And we can really tap into that and lean into that because that's what they're going to need. We're going to need that capacity at that length and the ability to react to it when we're trying to change direction in a more unpredictable environment. So when we're going through this and they're getting to this end range of an RDL and they start to bend the knees, they start to shake, they start to round. You're thinking, that's it, that's what I have. Quality has now gone out the window. It's no longer a technical proficient rep. But you're also thinking in the back of your mind, that's my opportunity. Now I found something to go ahead and improve upon. So very simple, I'm going to do an RDL and I'm going to get to that quote unquote end range, wherever it is on that given day. And you can look at critical drop off, diminishing returns here and say, okay, either I'm going to lighten the weight or I'm going to go reduce range of motion. I don't know if that's what I would do, but that could be an option. Or I can cut the set entirely and see what I can hold here, right? So I get down here, again, 3, 5, 7, 8 second isometric, whatever you feel is justifiable, pausing for that time period, and then pulling back up. Now, what you'll find a lot when we're doing these extended isometrics, you might find how they recover might be changed. Right, so I'm at length, I'm challenging that force length, I'm challenging the connective tissue, I'm challenging that series elastic component. I've taken away potentially some of that stretch shortening cycle that I really want to use, and now I have to find some sort of mechanical advantage or contractile ability to get out of that. And that's when you'll see what I kind of call this, I'm shifting tension away and then pulling up. Right, and that's a key. Because now, as soon as they start taking tension off that primary muscle group that we're trying to associate with that exercise, you find that opportunity of just where that force length ends. I can't generate force at that length, so I have to bring some more friends to the party. I have to bend my knees, round my back, and try to find a better center of mass to overcome that position. And that's okay, you just need to adjust the weight, drop the set, or go to a reduced range of motion. And that determines how far our end range is. Our end range is determined by how much force I can create at length. And if I can't produce a lot of force at a certain length, that's what I got. So that's our second movement for yielding isometrics. It's that end range yielding isometric.